Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. I'm excited today. We got somebody in the game that's doing some big things. Really incredible, honestly. Not just in multifamily, doing syndications, educating a boatload of people, collecting 10 to 12 million in education per year, 1,500 to 1,800 members that they're making a huge impact with, which is awesome. But what is really cool is the nonprofit that they're teaching financial literacy to in high schools, which is incredible. We've done experiences with that in the past where we bought lunch and sit down in classrooms, Jen and I, years ago, and it was awesome to just teach what we've learned with real estate, with credit, with financial literacy that they're not necessarily teaching in school. So bringing it to the youth, which is awesome. But these guys are doing some incredible stuff, over 3,000 doors currently, and from Texas originally, I believe at your Lake Tahoe house right now for the summer, which is awesome. So Steve, what's happening, man? How we doing today?
What's going on? Thanks for the great intro. Yeah, lots of exciting stuff going on in multifamily, but I'm just as excited about the stuff in single family and helping kids. We just love helping people reach financial freedom.
Let's go, man. Let's go. So anybody out there that doesn't know who you are, where you're from, what you're up to, do you mind just giving that 30,000 foot view for listeners?
Sure. Really quick. So I got started in real estate in 2001, 2002, took off like a rocket, Red Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but got really burned out on being a landlord, 130 units over about 3 years. And I was the guy that did all of it, right? I was the electrician, the plumber, the roofer, the person who went and checked people in and had to clean it out when people had to leave. It got me burned out. I sold everything in 2005.
That's like a Superman, honestly. Doing all those things, that's Superman with that many numbers.
And I was a full-time college student and I owned a business. I thought my thinking at the time was like, I'm just going to, exactly like Superman. I was like, I'm just going to flex really hard.
Do it.
I had everything pretty much on 15-year fixed. Because I was like, if I can just get it paid off, right? I'll be paid off by the time I'm 40. I'll have about $300K a month coming in passive.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this was young and dumb, 21-year-old, let's go, stay up all night. I don't need any sleep. I'll just drink gallons of coffee.
For 15 years.
Yeah.
Is this what the title though is about though, basically, actually retiring comfortably in 15 years? Is this how you did it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So I sold everything back then and I ended up actually being a waiter, worked in restaurants. I traveled around the world for a while. But then I went to Tony Robbins in 2012 and he asked, is this the life that you've always dreamed of living? And although I lived in a ski in, ski out in Colorado, I was working 60 hours a week. And I knew at the end of the day, this wasn't going to be sustainable. So I asked myself, what do I really want to do? I wanted to be on stage speaking. I love being in front of people. I love motivating people. I love helping people reach their goals. So quit my job, cold turkey, moved to Vegas, started a speaking career, started holding events. What happened, interestingly, as I got better at speaking and better at holding events, more and more people in the real estate sphere hired me to put on their events. So we were doing both fundraising and we were doing education events.
Sure.
And one of those people eventually asked me to be his partner in the business. He said, I'm really good at analyzing deals. I'm really good at managing the real estate and managing the people, but I need somebody to be the front person. I need somebody to run marketing, sales, and be out in front. And that's how Nate and I ended up together. I started investing again passively in 2011 and then 2014. And that's the way anyone in corporate right now, you have a 401k, you've been contributing, maybe your stocks are doing well, but I guarantee you they're not doing as well as real estate. If you find a great syndication deal, you make 18 to 25% on your money. If you're investing in cash, this is where we get to the title, right? Stay with me here, guys. Our biggest expense, hands down, is going to be taxes for most people. If you can take that same money that you were putting into taxes and instead just put it over here into real estate, you're going to get the tax break that allows you to do that. And then you end up with basically a free asset. We helped a guy do this last year in our consulting / education side. We helped him find a 4-unit he had his money. He makes about, I won't say what he makes, but he's a W-2 employee in sales. He does well. He had a tax burden of about $150K that he had set aside. He took that money, bought a 4-unit, got $106,000 off of his taxes last year. He's going to get 90 some off this year. He's going to get 80 off next year, basically making that 4-unit free.
Let's go.
And now he's bringing in a couple grand a month, and he's getting the tax incentives, plus he's getting the appreciation in the building. Like, it's a no-brainer, and it is not difficult. If you can do well at a W-2 job, this doesn't take 10 hours a week. This takes a couple hours to get it set up, and then once it's going, we teach people, like, if you're going to do it yourself, you want a property manager in place. You want a lot of the stuff that makes this easy, the stuff that I did not do when I was 21.
Yeah.
You know all this, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we all go through the same thing and make these mistakes, but I love that. And I love what you've been able to do over the years to help out more people. You mentioned your business partner, Nate. Who's Nate? And then what's the company?
Yeah. So our company is called Home Invest, homeinvest.com. Cool. Nate Armstrong is the founder and CEO. And then I am his partner in the business now. And we've been partnered together for several years. He takes care of like the nitty gritty, detail oriented spreadsheet stuff. He goes out and finds the deals. Most of our deals come off market. We try our best not to use brokers or dealers or any kind of realtor or have anything in the middle. So most of the deal we're raising for right now took over 4 years to get under contract. It's a relationship we've been working on for a long time. It's also owner financed. So the capital stack for it is very favorable to investors. We'll pay out dividends from day one. Yeah,
sign me up for that. That sounds good. Yeah, I love it. So when it comes down to your guys' marketing to get the real estate transaction side of deals, you guys doing direct to mail or like what does that look like?
Good question. This is a question we get a lot, which is how do you get these great off-market deals? So It's going to sound, I wish I had some sexy AI thing that I could tell you to plug in. It's really 3 basic things. We go to PropStream, we get the addresses of people, then we go out and we reach out to them. And this is the one that everybody misses. Everybody's good at that, right? Like maybe they send a yellow letter or a postcard. We don't send either of those. We send a handwritten letter. That's a note. And then we say,
personally, somebody's doing each one?
Yeah.
Or you have the machine.
No. We're sending a note. Like it's usually just a Post-it note with a little information. We'll put information about Home Invest, but then we say, hey, we're happy to jump on a call today, tomorrow, the next day. If you're not ready to sell right now, this is the key. If you're not ready to sell right now, know that we would be interested down the road. We've been around for a long time. Nate's been around since 2002. We've been around for a long time. That's step 2, right?
Sure.
Get the lead. Step 2 is make contact with the lead. Step 3,
intro, basically, just like, hey, we're here. This is what we do.
Step 3 is the one that everybody misses, and just follow up. Follow up. Like, and it's not always about us. Usually, because we
about them, right? You know, when the right time is for them, what they're going through that day, you know, when you're always in front of them following up, that's when the magic happens.
And the follow-up can't be about you. It can't be about, hey, are you ready to sell yet? It has to be more about like, we learn something about personal people, like about their personal life. And we try to include something in there. The nonprofit also plays a role in this. We usually tell people about our nonprofit. And we're always looking for people to be involved. That's a mission, I think everybody, whether they own an apartment building, whether they invest, whether they're thinking about investing, I think everybody knows that financial literacy being taught to our kids is one of the most important things that's not getting done right now.
Yeah. And they want to be a part of something, that type of mission, and support it in every way. I love that.
It gives us a way to follow up without making it about us or investment. It's like, hey, do you want to be involved in this charity event that we're doing? Hey, do you want to sponsor some kids? Hey, do you want to come share your story? Anything like that.
Wow.
It gets us involved. So one thing I'll share with anyone listening, like anyone that I meet anywhere, I put them in my contact, right? Maybe we'll do the bump phone thing where you get the contact, but take notes. Not on what is interesting to you about them, but what is interesting to them. Because if I follow up with you and I say, hey, would you be interested? I know you and Jen have spoke at schools. Like, would you like to come speak at a school with us? We've got one coming up in Southern California. We'd love to have you guys be a part of. That's way better than, hey, man, did my podcast episode get released yet? Hey, do you know if there's any follow-up? Did you get some social media stuff that I can use?
Yeah.
Like completely different tone to that conversation.
Yep.
So that's how I do it. That and Post-it notes. I have Post-it notes everywhere.
Yeah, you're a Post-it note junkie. I love it.
You can't miss it. Like I got a whole wall of Post-it notes behind my computer with dates on them. Because
I got a bunch, baby. We're all right here too.
there we go. I like it.
That's funny. So talk to me. You've been with the company now, you and Nate, for 4.5 years. Got inspired prior by good old Tony Robbins that said, "Hey, let's do something bigger, better." And afterwards, now you're helping out a ton of people. What does it look like? You guys raised $50 million in how long time frame?
Probably a little over maybe 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah, like Nate has been raising money since before I was ever part of it. But when I got involved, we started getting on stages. We started a podcast. We started doing a weekly live show. We started putting ourselves out there a lot more. I mean, I know everybody knows Grant Cardone, right? 150 pieces of content a week. We're not there yet. We're probably like 25 to 30, but putting ourselves out, getting ourselves in front of people, being active. The main thing is having conversations and following up. So the same thing, if you saw the wall of Post-it notes behind me, if I have a conversation with somebody, I always tell them, hey, it's not about investing with us today.
Yep.
Tell me what's important to you. I'll take a few notes. I put the date on it. It goes on the wall. I try to send 3 to 5 text messages a day, just following up with people. And then if I follow up, I just mark a little date on the Post-it note. It goes back on the wall. It's not very efficient. I know they're a spreadsheet. I know
it's not the most organized way, but
like
it works for you.
I mean, we have Pipe Drive.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like that takes more time, energy, and effort to me than just saying like, hey, I got 3 Post-it notes. I color code them by month.
Yeah.
But like I got 3 Post-it notes from last month. I'm going to pull them down. I'm going to send them a text. I'm going to look at my notes for their personal info. Hey, how's your dog doing? Hey, I know you were at Disney. Hey, I know you were looking to get out of the heat. Here's a picture from Lake Tahoe. Like all of that stuff we just follow up like crazy.
I love it. So I mean, even though it's an organized mess because you got color coded months and everything. I like that.
It's just visual.
It's a visual.
I can't argue with the stuff on the wall. It's funny because I have a longtime girlfriend now, but before Emily was part of it, 3rd or 4th date, I would have the girl over to like hang out, and she'd be like, "What is all this?" And I'm like, "That's business.
That's business.
Like, that's how it gets done." And they're just like, "Huh." But it is way better to have a Post-it note on the wall than to have a note on your phone or something in a CRM somewhere that you can't ever find.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. I like it. Incredible. So talk to me about within real estate, actually being able to retire comfortably within 15 years. What does that look like?
Sure. So, okay, we've all seen like the compound interest curve. Start investing when 25 years old. You're going to put this much in your 401k. Stocks are going to grow at X. Yep. And then you slowly have this like upward, but it doesn't hockey stick till after you're 65 usually.
Wow.
That is with 3 things. 1, solid investments. 2, not having a financial planner. And 3, no big market corrections. Well, it's funny. We were talking about talking at high schools, right? So I was talking at a high school in Denver a couple months ago, and I was having a discussion. I was like, during the last downturn, and one of the kids was like, I was born in 2014.
Yeah. What downturn?
What downturn? He's just been in like a positive upcycle, right? Yeah. And to his credit, he had a Robinhood account. He got into it during the GameStop stuff.
Yeah. Good.
But he had a Robinhood account. It had a couple grand in it, which for a kid that was born in 2014, I mean, good for him, right? I think it had $2,200 in it. But I was like, okay, you're headed in the right direction. But let's talk about what happens during a downturn. He's like, oh, I saw that in 2019 and 2021. I was like, bro, you haven't seen a downturn.
Yeah.
You wait till you lose 50% of your value overnight.
Well, so what's funny is I graduated high school in 2008, but I grew up in more of a, quote unquote poorer area, and or at least that's what my circle. So I didn't even feel it. I didn't know anything about it. Total ignorance.
Yeah.
I don't know. Life's life. I didn't hear anything on the news. I didn't know anything about it. But looking back now, years later, I get into real estate, and it's like, whoa, there's a lot of craziness going on back there, and I didn't even know.
Yeah. So I want to go back to your question. So step 1, that long curve.
Sure.
Where real estate comes in, it does a couple things. 1, if you have a 401k or an IRA, you can roll those over and do self-directed. And if you do self-directed, you can point them into real estate.
Sure.
Now, we teach active real estate investing. If you own a couple single families, duplexes, triplexes, and you want to get into small multifamily, that's one of our masterminds that we teach specifically on how to do that. How do you start management? How do you get yourself out of the process? So then you can get 2 or 3, 8 to 20 units and flip that into a 50 to 100 unit. That's one way to do it. That is the active path. That is going to take you probably 15 hours a week, maybe 10 once you get your stuff really sorted. That is one way to do it. The other way is self-direct your IRA, your 401k, start putting some cash in as well, and invest in syndications. Investing in good syndications will get you there. Basically, with inside of 15 to 16 years, you should see your investment 4x, like double 4 times, not 4x, double 4 times. So this is not, I can't guarantee anything. It's all real estate. I got to put all the asterisk legal crap in front of it, right?
Yeah. Disclosures.
Yeah.
No promises.
No promises. Yeah. But we have seen our buildings double in value in 4 to 6 years.
Sure.
If you put 100K in and it doubles in 4 years, now you have 200. Now it doubles again in 8 years. Now you've got 400. Now it doubles again in 12 years. You've now got 800K from your original 100K investment. You could take a couple more years in there. You're going to be doing really well. That's 100K of investment. I know a lot of people are like, oh, 100K.
Yeah.
If you have a retirement account, average retirement account right now is 300K. If you start with that right now and put that in, you should spread it across some different syndications. Don't put it all in one. Diversify inside of real estate. You're going to do really well. If you can also take what you would pay in tax and put that money into real estate, you're basically getting that for free. People tell me all the time, like one of the biggest arguments is, I don't have money for real estate right now. I said, okay, so let's say you pay 25% of your income in taxes. What'd you make last year? 120K. Okay, let's just do 100 to make it flat. Easy, right? That's 25K a year that you can also put into real estate that you will literally get the same amount back on your taxes if you're picking the right deals. That is a free investment. It does not come out of your pocket. It's not going to affect your lifestyle. It's not going to change anything right now. But think about like the 4X rule again. In 12 years, that's now 100K. You do that for the next 5 years, you now got an extra $500,000. And then you do one more investment with that, and you got $1 million. Yeah. Like, granted, we've got inflation. There's some crystal ball to this because we're talking 15 years in the future.
Sure.
But it is way better positioned than you would be right now. And it literally just takes, to do that tax thing that we were just talking about, takes very little effort. It's not hard to do.
I love that. Yeah, that's so incredible. Very creative too. Yeah, and anybody can do it. And they don't need to take down these huge projects themselves. They can just find good syndicators. So how do you find somebody that is a great syndicator that can really double and so forth, especially in the last couple years, kind of like that young kid approach, born 2014, he saw everything going up and everything was all fun and people are doubling their syndications within a year and doing some crazy things. And then once interest rates all started, shooting up and nobody was anticipating that or betting on it, a lot of syndicators are underwater. Even one of the syndications that I'm a part of, they did a capital call and they're about to do a second one. And so it's,
sure,
a lot of people are hurting out there. How do you bet on people like that?
So we have a course on this. I hope you don't mind. I'll drop a quick promo. If you go to steve.coffee, that's the URL, steve.coffee. We have something that's called the 5 landmines of passive real estate investing. It's how to pick a great syndication deal, but I'm happy to go through them here high level. I'll answer anything. This is one of my favorite questions because syndications can lose money. They are not a guaranteed home run. And if you get stuck with a capital call or a bankruptcy, it's going to hurt. So how do you make sure? First off, 90% of syndications, that's the number that I've heard. And from my experience, 90% of its syndications go off without a problem. You're going to have some with capital calls and about 2% are going to end in bankruptcy. So how do you make sure that they're not there, that you are investing in a good one? The first one is history. Make sure that the person has been around. We like to see them be around at least since 2007. One of the keys during the last downturn is not only did they buy a property, because anyone can buy when the market is down, but were they able to exit a property profitably? Second big question, are they taking what we call it exotic debt? Are they taking anything that has a flexible interest rate? Are they taking a bridge loan? Are they taking any kind of private money that has ramifications for you as an investor? So private money, if you look at like a big VC firm that can come in and sometimes underwrite these deals, what happens is they take all the profit out first. They're in first position, basically. That can lead to something like as an investor where you don't get paid anything. They basically ride along on your 100K and you get any investment dollars out of that on the back end, any profit. So we don't like to see any of that. Those are two big ones. The other one is location. So Florida and Texas, hot markets, except now they're getting hammered because of insurance and because of, in Texas, property taxes. The way that we like to see avoiding that is stay in a state that runs a surplus budget. What happens if the state is running a deficit? They are eventually going to have to make that up through something, and it's usually going to be property taxes. Wow. So we're in Kentucky. Kentucky is a surplus budget. They also have the next one, which is solid job growth. So Austin, I live in Austin. I would not invest in Austin because we saw a really sharp spike up from about 2017-18. Now it's flattened and it's headed down. Depending on what you read, property values are down 30 to 40% because what goes up really fast must come down really fast, right? Yep.
I couldn't agree more with that. And I see still there's like newer investors or people that are still really heavily looking in those areas. And I'm always like scratching my head of, is there still anything left to be done over there? And I'm sure, there's opportunities everywhere, but is it more of a riskier situation? I would assume so, and so, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's like one ball. The second ball of wax has to do with the way that they manage. We like to see vertical integration. We like to see hands-on management. And this is the way that you can test this is ask to see, this is getting really nitty gritty for an investor, but ask to see the T12s and the rent rolls, and then ask them where they found discrepancies when they were doing their underwriting. If they didn't find a problem, they didn't dig hard enough. I will tell you, every deal we underwrite, it's not like a major problem. It's not like a dumpster fire, right? But if you can't look at the T12s, if they can't say, oh, we found out their expenses were off for the last 3 years by about 10%, and here's what we're looking at, they have not done due diligence hard enough. Wow. Same with rent rolls. If you want to look at rent rolls and see, this is getting a little bit gritty, but if you want to look at rent rolls and you want to see like what's their loss to lease and how are they fixing that? How do they manage the properties? This is something I got from my friend Hunter Thompson gave this to me, and it was brilliant. It was saying we were not doing, but we immediately implemented, was how do you handle move outs? Most people will say, well, I don't know, people usually move out on Fridays. Well, if you look at historical data, people say they're moving out on Fridays. They don't get everything done, which means that they then go over, which means you now lose a week of rental income.
Yep.
That's like a very nutshell way of putting it. But you want to see move outs that are actually scheduled for Mondays, because then it will be ready to go. The unit will be ready to move in over the next weekend. You should be showing that unit 30 to 60 days out before it is vacated. And the way that you do that is you offer the people a Starbucks gift card or a $25 Amazon gift card to have the unit cleaned. We do that. And that has increased our NOI significantly because people say, well, it's 1 week. Yeah, but if you're working on an apartment building of 150 units, that comes out to be a lot.
Yeah, it adds up. Yeah.
The other things you want to look for are you looking for creative ways to monetize spaces? We charge for all of our parking. We don't mandate it. We say, if you want an assigned spot, we have those available. Here's what it costs. Right away, we're adding 10 grand a month. Not, I guess I shouldn't say 10 grand. We're adding at least, I would say 5 grand a month to properties. A lot of cases, 10K just through that kind of stuff. Like, are we monetizing the spaces? The other thing, oh man, there's so many different things. Another thing that we do, this is for our operators out there. We have found, and this one might be a little controversial. I'm a Christian, Nate is a Christian. We are a Christian-based company. Yeah, we have found putting a chaplain on premise that we subsidize builds community. Yeah, builds we did it because we believe in that. And we believe in building community, and we believe that helps put Christian values back in the world, which is part of our mission. What we have also found is it stopped tenant turnover. We now have about a 6-month longer rent cycle due to that, because people like that in the community. You take that for what that's worth. Yeah. That doesn't go to how do you pick a good syndication. I don't know very many people who do that, but that's something that we've implemented that we've seen really good returns. The last thing that I will say that we like to see is inside of management and how they're running properties, it should be vertically integrated. How are they communicating? This is one that you can ask for. How do they communicate with investors? So this is something where a lot of syndicators fall apart, right? They send out, they're not supposed to do anything. Most say they will send out a monthly update.
Sure.
Monthly update might be a text or an email. How are they actually communicating? How are they providing details on the property? So we do a couple different things. We email monthly. We send out a video monthly. We text monthly. We do a call. Anytime somebody wants to get on a call with us, if they text us, hey, you want to jump on a call? We'll jump on a call. We'll discuss anything about the property. And we show that anyone that's looking at investing with us, we send out an email that's got 10 examples of that and people that they can talk to. If somebody's willing to communicate like that, we don't hide from things either. Like, good. There's something going wrong on a property. We talk about what it is. We talk about how we're fixing it. Knock on wood, we've never had to do a capital call. We have had to pause. We pay dividends from day one. We won't take a property unless we can. We had to pause dividends on one property in the last 10 years. That was because it was a reconstruction loan. When interest rates started jumping a year ago, we had to pause. It was about a year and a half ago. We had to pause for 2 payments. We've since made those payments up to investors, but we had to pause and we were just honest about it. Hey, the bank is holding funds right now because things are changing. We are on track. What we had to do, so you'll know this, you have to be at 90% occupancy to refinance. We were at 88%. So what we did, we came out of pocket, Nate and I came out of pocket to finish the last unit. We had to finish 2 units so that we could get to 90%. We got to 90%. We did the refi. We made up the missed payments to our investors. We're back on track. We were forward and honest about doing that. I don't know a lot of syndicators that do that. Instead, they try to hide. I've seen syndicators like do a capital call on something like that. That's just bad form to me personally. I'm not being judgmental, but I wouldn't want to see that.
Yeah, it's nonsense. I love it. Where do you think the market's going right now? We're in a new election year coming up in the next few months. There's, interest rates have been claimed to come down, so many times this year and really haven't. So what do you think the future really holds for us? And obviously I won't hold you to it. Nobody's got that crystal ball, but what do you think?
So, okay, there's so many different things and like angles to this conversation. I don't think we're going to see interest rates come down anytime soon. Really? I don't think we're going to see them come down after the election either. If you look at what the current administration has done, they have found other ways to prop up buying. So we should be seeing, so we track a couple things that we track. We track 30, 60, 90-day late notices. We track foreclosures. We track auto loan delinquencies and auto loan repos. Those are a couple of things that we track. We have seen auto loan defaults and repos go through the roof, 100x, like double. Wow. We have seen 30 and 60-day late payments also double. We have not seen foreclosures double because the Biden administration stepped in and put a Band-Aid on it. They weren't super public about it, but they said, hey, if you're missing your payments, we will redo your loan and we will Band-Aid it until after the election. It expires in February. So I think what we're going to see, they've been trying. This is what I see. They've said they're going to lower rates and then they have not been able to fulfill that. Like they bring it down like a 10th of a point, right? I think we're going to see rates stay where they're at because we have not seen inventory build enough yet. We're not going to see people buy. I think everybody right now that I know of, myself included, is aiming to rent because why buy with the interest rates? So I'm either going to buy owner financed or I'm going to rent until rates come down. Rates are just too high. I think we might actually see rates go up a little bit more. I mean, we're seeing there are people smarter than me that can probably analyze this better, but we're seeing the national debt keep growing and growing and growing. And as long as that is happening, I think that is going to affect rates.
If you go to nationaldebtclock.com and see that just keep ticking up and up and up. It's like, oh my God.
I mean, they're putting out more stimulus checks now. And it's like, guys.
Are they doing that right now?
There are some states that are printing stimulus checks, which you think about that. Everybody wants to complain about inflation. I think we got off mild on inflation. We tripled the supply of money. But yet we did not see prices triple. We saw them go up by 10% maybe cumulatively. So back to your question, I think the rent cap, I don't know if you saw Biden
I saw that and I was thinking to myself, okay, are you going to put caps on the property taxes or insurance because those have been getting out of the roof?
I mean, he did it to grab headlines.
Of course.
Chances of that passing are slim to none.
Never.
You're right. I mean, it's possible. We've seen weirder things. I don't think it's probable though. I think what we will see happen if Trump gets elected, I think the things that we will see for real estate specifically, the Jobs Act, which is what gave us accelerated depreciation, I think will become permanent law, which will help real estate. I also think that our economy will probably do a little bit better under him.
Yeah, for sure.
If Biden, well, it's not going to be Biden anymore, whoever we name as Democrat, if they pass, I think we'll see some protection for foreclosures, which will stem the amount of inventory. If we do that, I think we will see rates stay high, which in turn will then push people to do more seller financing offers. We do most of our multifamily through seller financing. We always ask for it. And because we've developed pretty deep relationships, we usually are able to get part of the deal seller financed. I think that's what we're in store for. I don't think we will see any rate drop till after the election. And I think if Democrats come in, I think we will see it stay high. If Republicans come in, I think we'll see it lower.
Have you noticed in the last quarter or so that it's almost turned into more of like a buyer's market at all?
Some areas have, but the people who can buy are buying in cash. Like people right now I know are borrowing against their 401k to buy a house because you if you didn't know this is a fun tip. You can borrow against your 401k. You just have to pay yourself back at a reasonable rate of return, which right now can be 3%. So if you have $500,000 sitting in your 401k and you want to go buy a house, you can go buy the house and pay for it in cash and basically give yourself the loan, right? You're going to pay a little bit of interest. I think that we've seen it change slightly, but it's still not enough. Inventory has grown. So, I just pulled stats on this last week. Inventory in Denver is up about 25%. Inventory in Austin is up over 30%. Inventory in Florida is up over 20%. Jacksonville specifically. As we see that build, eventually price will come down. One of the things that's happening though is a lot of these people built or bought in 2020, 2021.
Sure.
They don't have a lot of room to come down in price. So you might have bought for, let's say, I'm going to use round numbers. Let's say you bought for $500,000 in 2020. You might have $100,000 in equity. On paper, you might have 150. You can come down a little bit, but you're not going to be able to come down much below $500,000. Most people have a hard stop, which is going to stop the market from moving too much. We're just going to end up with a lot of inventory. Eventually I think what we're going to see, eventually rates will come down. I think they might actually go up again, and then they'll bring them down to like 6.5, maybe 5.5. I think it's going to be several years before we see below 5.5.
Yeah,
I am not probably the right person to talk about that.
It's all good. I respect your opinion though, and appreciate you sharing with us. That's good. Steve, how can people get a hold of you and any final words to the listeners?
Sure. If you are interested, steve.coffee has 3 things on it. The first one, you can book a call directly with me through that link. Number 2, if you are interested in how to pick a great syndication, it's called the 5 Landmines of Passive Real Estate Investing. It's a PDF and 7 videos that walk you through everything in depth. That is free there. And thirdly, if you would like me to speak either to your audience, like a podcast, or come to one of your live events, or if you would like to be involved with our charity in any way, and the third one is a link to book for speaking. We would love any of that. If you're interested in jumping into one of our syndications usually fill up in 3 to 4 weeks. The last one filled up in 3 weeks on the dot, just because we have a pretty good list and people know that we do very well. But if you're interested in joining one of our syndications, you can reach out, you can book a call with me. I'm happy to walk you through the current deal that we have, depending on when you hear this.
Love it. Well, Steve, I appreciate you greatly. I know the listeners do as well. And guys, you're definitely going to want to reach out to Steve. He's a wealth of knowledge and doing some awesome things, and definitely support the charity and what they got going on by teaching financial literacy, to the youth, to the kids, which is great. Guys, if you want to get a hold of me, you can always do so on Instagram. Check out Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, our business page on Instagram, Credit Counsel Elite. Speaking of which, if you want to learn more about what the heck we do here at Credit Counsel Elite, Elite, then check out creditcounselelite.com. That's www.creditcounselelite.com. There's a quick 10-minute video on there that explains more in detail about how we can help business owners nationwide be able to actually get up to $500,000 in new capital with interest rates as low as 0%. That's right. Getting $2, $3, $4, or even $500,000 in new capital at interest rates as low as 0% to be able to start real estate, grow and scale your business, whatever it may be nationwide. So you can check us out there and book a free call just to get a better understanding where you're at, where you're looking to go. And with that being said, if you have not already hit that subscribe button to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, what are you waiting for? Make sure you do that right here, right now. Greatly appreciate all the 5-star reviews. You guys are amazing. Keep it coming. And love you guys all so much. We'll see you on the next one. Steve, appreciate you, brother.
My pleasure.
Guys,
thanks so much.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.